Following up now on what the city is doing in response to a possible racial disparity in police traffic stops. The city actually promised a few years ago to make some changes after an I-team investigation brought the issue to light. 9 on your side's Courtney Francisco joins us live right now from City Hall. And Courtney, what have you learned about their updates?
Yeah, Craig, I'm hoping to hear from the city soon. I reached out nearly 7 hours ago. I had 2 questions. Has the city hired a team to assess the police traffic stop data for possible racial profiling? And is your tax money still available for that?
We know data shows police pull over more people who are African American or black than white. So should the city hire a team to find out if that's due to racial profiling?
Not really to point the finger and all this kind of stuff, but it's just that things get better. And if there's room for improvement for anybody.
Some taxpayers say, why not check if our money's already allocated?
Yeah, I care.
I asked the Fraternal Order of Police president if an assessment team could alert police to patterns before they become a bigger problem.
I think the money would be better spent concentrating on the things that are, taking people's lives. Whether you're talking about violent crime or you're talking about drug overdoses.
In 2016, 9 on Your Side uncovered the racial disparity. In response, City Council approved a budget that set aside money to pay for a company to assess the raw data for signs of profiling. Waiting on the city to confirm that and confirm if it has hired a team. What has become available to you in that time is this website where you can see who police are pulling over and where, broken down by race.
When we're looking at our calls for service and our crime, we're not thinking about race.
The FOP president argues the context behind the data is
you deploy your folks where they're needed. And where they're needed is where the higher crime rates are, especially the violent crime. And it's also where it is that your calls for service come from.
This taxpayer says his trust in police is improving, but an assessment won't hurt.
I think things have gotten better here, but it's good to stay up on it.
And since 2001, a professor with the University of Cincinnati and the RAND project have assessed the traffic stop data. You can find all that information under this story on our website, WCPO.com. Reporting live in Cincinnati, Courtney Francisco, 9 on Your Side.
All right, Courtney, thanks so much. A local prosecutor is launching his own investigation into the controversial pardon of a convicted child rapist. Kenton County Commonwealths attorney tells 9 on Your Side he will look into former Governor Matt Bevin's pardon of Michael Shettle. Rod Sanders announced on Twitter he has requested a complete copy of Bevin's pardon file, and that Governor Andy Beshear's staff said they would produce it. Now, Shettle was previously convicted of raping a child and was sentenced to 23 years in prison. He is now a free man, and he does not have to register as a sex offender. Bevin said in his written justification for the pardon that the case was handled in a sloppy manner, and he doesn't believe that Shettle was guilty.
Metropolitan Sewer District customers will find out tonight if their rates will go up for next year. The Hamilton County Board of Commissioners is expected to make a decision at its meeting tonight at 6:30. MSD is asking for a 1% budget increase here. The agency wants $125 million for operations and maintenance, and the county targeted is actually $123.8 million. MSD is also asking for $168 million for capital improvements, about $40 million more than the county recommends. Also, about $10 million of that would go toward cleanup and damages from chronic sewer backups that have been caused by the heavy rains.
A local family has faced incredible challenges. They lost one child to cancer, and they're currently watching another one recover from a horrible accident. All of this within 2 years. But folks, there's hope. 9 on Your Side's Raven Richard tells us how a new companion is helping to ease that pain.
A friendship is born at the SPCA Cincinnati as 2 lives are meeting, and they're both on the road to recovery.
Mr. Allen was in the parking lot one day.
They were closed and she just happened to be walking by, asked to help, and we got to talking. And
I said, hey, how are you today? And he says, fine, I'm looking for a puppy. And we started discussing puppies. And then he told me about, he was from Mr. Allen from the Allen family. And then the tears flowed.
And that's how we get here. Andrew Allen and his new puppy, Harland. Within a couple of years, the Allen family lost their 2-year-old son, Brody, to brain cancer. Right after that, Andrew, who was 20, was hit by 2 cars.
To go from this time last year in a coma and not certain if he would even survive or what his future would be like to speeding through his recovery.
And that's where Harlan comes in.
Harlan was found in a trash bag in Mount Healthy.
He has a broken elbow and a fractured leg. He'll have one of his legs amputated.
All the rough things that happened to him and the road to recovery.
Is why Andrew says he picked Harlan.
We haven't had a lot of smiles this past year, but to see him overjoyed and just the sight of what a puppy brings to you, it's just awesome.
Harlan still has some obstacles to go through. Drew still has some obstacles to go through, and together they'll be able to make it a success.
And Andrew is still fighting on his own road to recovery.
He's going to inspire me more.
In many ways, Harlan is a blessing not only to Andrew, but the entire family.
When I see Harlan, I think a lot about Brody. Brody was the same way, and I think certainly with Andrew, after everything he's been through in this last year, nothing stops him, and I think the two of them make an incredible pair.
In Sharonville, Raven Richard, 9 on your side.
Always great to see puppies go home to a nice home.
They all need each other, don't they?
That's right. All right, straight ahead here, we're talking about adult supervision.
Yeah, the rule Kenwood Town Center is putting in place through the holidays to make sure your shopping experience is a peaceful one. And
lives cut short, a spike in teens killed by gun violence. How city and school officials are fighting it while watching out for the survivors.
A standoff on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi holds off on sending the articles of impeachment against the president to the Senate. On World News Tonight at 6:30, what that means for the process.
You're watching 9 on your side at 6.
Well, Kenwood Town Center is trying to keep the peace at the mall through the holiday season. Starting December 26th, it will require teens to be accompanied by an adult. The chaperone program will be in effect in the afternoons through the end of the year. Mall officials say they're trying to eliminate disruptive behavior by the youth and create a family-friendly atmosphere. And that includes the parking lot and sidewalks also around the mall.
Happening now, the CVG International Airport is gearing up for one of its busiest travel days. The airport says tomorrow and the 2 days after Christmas will be crowded. And if you're leaving from CVG, the worst time to be there is 6 to 8 in the morning. The airport will serve more than 305,000 passengers through the new year. That's about 2.5% increase over last year.
A lot of people. All right, we're getting a look tonight at the plans for the former IRS site in Covington. Take a look. A design firm wants to build a levee park there, a community plaza for festivals and a mix of office and apartment buildings. The IRS facility closed down earlier this year. The Covington Commission will use the plan as a guide. And the firm says the site will create more than 1,000 permanent jobs and about 1,500 temporary jobs. Steve, pretty cold this morning.
Yeah, it sure was. Good lead-in, too, because I was going to talk about it's 14 this morning. 38, that's all we could do. But, boy, we're going to jump above average and then some in the next 7 days. I'll have that for you coming up.
Next on 9 on your side, forever changed. 5 local teens touched by a spike in gun deaths in the city remember their fallen teammate and look to the future. It's next on 9 on your side at 6.
It's a lot of people dying because of guns and stuff, especially kids.
This year, teen gun violence has spiked across Cincinnati. We will end 2019 with the highest number of teens killed by guns in the past 4 years.
This problem isn't just.
It's starting to get normal.
I think about that all the time.
Stop the violence, because I'm with Ike every day.
Ike, hit the Gangnam Style. Whoa, whoa.
If I was with him that day, the bullet could have got me too. Mike Mitchell, shooting guard.
Deontay Shekels, point guard.
Hakeem Griggs, point guard.
Xander Harvey, shooting guard.
Benit Harrison, guard for and center.
Their 5 teammates missing their shooting guard.
We were all close to him. He was a person you could talk to all the time.
Ike Moore should be starting his senior year at North College Hill High School.
I was on my way to the park when I found out it happened.
He was waiting at Crutchfield Park. That's when an argument broke out. Ike, standing by, shot and killed. He was just 17.
I just didn't believe it at first. It's starting to happen more now.
Ike's death happened just outside of the Cincinnati city limits. But in Cincinnati alone, police data shows over 300 shootings happened in 2019. Nearly 30% of those victims are teenagers. 10 of those died. That doesn't include their number 44, Ike Moore.
Raise your hand if you know someone your age, a friend of yours, who either has access to a gun or can get their hands on a gun. Everybody?
I know they keep it for protection, so I can't really tell them, like, don't keep it because you don't know what's going to happen.
Why do you think kids your age feel like they have to protect themselves?
Because there's so many dying.
I've been to over 800 funerals.
Senseless violence is front and center for activist Aaron Pollins. He keeps hundreds of reminders in his home from the hundreds of homicides, many of them shootings.
We need to get to our kids before the body falls.
All of them in the Cincinnati area over the last 10 years.
I've seen the shooters and the victims becoming younger and younger. There's so many great, talented people in the graveyard.
He mentors thousands of teens through his Men Involved program. He says he's seen it all, again.
The crying of the community.
And again. He says stopping the violence is like running a good play. You need a coach who makes the difference between winning and losing.
He cares about us.
For the boys, that coach is Shannon Miner.
The day doesn't end at 3. It doesn't end at 5 after practice. It continues on until 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
And a second dad.
Teachers and coaches kind of provide that father figure in their life. We do a lot of team bonding.
We caught a catfish.
I probably caught the biggest one.
Coach Miner protects them from others.
You know, we're trying to get the kids to start thinking when things happen, turn the other way, remember about Ike.
And possibly themselves.
Something's wrong when kids have access to a gun and they feel like that's the answer.
When I'm a young officer in the early 90s and someone made a gun recovery, it was big news.
Cincinnati Assistant Chief of Police Paul Newdigate says it's different now.
They're taking 4 to 5 guns every day off the streets.
The gym is a place to escape bullets, and what they say many people believe about black boys.
What do they see?
Thugs.
Dropouts.
Not smart enough.
Shooters.
What do you want them to see?
An educated young man.
Yeah, I'm a nice person.
We lead on and off the court.
On 3, 1, 2, 3, jump!
This court is a home. Away from home.
You said it's movie year.
What does that mean?
I don't know, we get a highlight tape.
And where these boys keep Ike's memory alive.
Long live my brother.
Tonight, the North College Hill High School basketball community will be honoring Ike Moore. They're asking everyone to buy one of these t-shirts in Ike's favorite color, green, and his family tells me they will also be here to say a few words. It's a way for the community to heal and never forget their number 44. I'm in North College Hill, Jasmine Miner, 9 on your side.
So if you want to know more about where police think guns involved in teen shootings are coming from and how police think they might be able to get a better handle on this, check out Jasmine's digital story. It's on WCPO.com right now.
Switching gears, we want to get an update on the weather situation.
That's right. Getting chilly tonight, huh, Steve?
Yeah, it sure is. Thankfully, it's not going to be as cold as we had it this morning, 14 degrees as we showed you. We're going to see a few high clouds kind of pass in and out of the area, but that's going to be about it for us as we continue into tomorrow. In fact, we're really going to have temperatures warming starting tomorrow, and it's going to continue into next week. We have got a stretch of weather that's really unusual for this time of the year, especially since winter is first day on Saturday. The irony here as temperatures climb. The warmer conditions, in fact, on Saturday will be right by about 50 degrees. High pressures around now and will be for the next few days. And so as a result, every day we see